You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live, This Week, featuring news and commentary on This Week in Black Hollywood. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live This Week, Derrial Christon.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You're watching Black Hollywood Live This Week. I am your host, Derrial Christon. Here joining me today is Courtney Stewart.
What's up, y'all?
DJ Jesse J. You got your own remix going on today.
Hey, DJ Jesse J.
That's right. Well, our very special guest today, we are so excited to have her. She is next to me right now, if you're watching visually, is Rachel True in the house.
Welcome.
The woman who does not age at all, by the way.
No, that's not true. I'm just in like a dark vortex and you can't actually see me.
Let me tell you something.
All that stuff you've seen on the crap is real.
It's real magic going on right now.
Mixing up her stuff. She got it in the cup, y'all. The magic
Can I have some of that, please? Because I need to, I need that in my life right now. I definitely need that in my life.
I want to come here every day just for the introduction.
You can. Please do.
Seriously.
Well, we have a very exciting show besides having Rachel on today, which we're going to do a interview after we do our hot topics. But some of the topics include Cosmopolitan magazine names the Kardashians the first family, and critics erupt. They go crazy.
The world
erupts, right. Twitter goes crazy.
Black Twitter or all of Twitter?
All of Twitter. All of
Twitter
Twitter.
was offended.
Kickstarter and the UN raised funds to help Syrian refugees, which is a great thing. Malcolm Jamal Warner speaks out about Bill Cosby. A lot of the cast members have been pretty silent, and he is now talking about it. And a study reveals why black workers need to be better than white workers at all times.
That's true.
That's very true. And we'll
We
talk
ain't
about
shocked.
that. We're not shocked by
That
that
ain't
study.
Only white people are surprised.
Yes.
Wait, what? Is that still the case?
It's 2015. You have a black president. All right. We have the buzz meter question from last week, which was, are you excited to see Nicki Minaj's new show, which is going to be on ABC Family
It's
Channel?
no longer ABC Family.
Oh, it's not?
It changed its name
Flash
to
Forward?
Flash
Something
ridiculous. Something with an F that's real ridiculous, and I just forgot as I started talking. It'll come back to me.
shade.
But it was ridiculous. We were like, why? They're rebranding because
Okay.
they were.
I
Like,
think the rebranding is probably a good idea,
Yeah.
but the name was not catchy.
it was great. It was just weird.
And we can't think of it right
Yeah. It wasn't memorable.
So it wasn't a UPNCW.
No.
Well, then it goes with the statistics that we have here.
Freeform.
Freeform.
Ah.
Freeform.
That's a real freeform you letting Nicki Minaj on.
Freeform. Well, statistically, after you guys voted, you said 57% of you said no, that you are not excited, and 43% of you said yes.
I'm surprised.
I'm sort of surprised by that, actually.
I want to see what
I
she's
want
gonna
to see what it's gonna
conjure up.
be.
Here's the thing, I can't tell you one thing about Nicki Minaj. Like, I'm not actually the biggest fan of the music, but I'm a fan of anyone going and getting what they want.
Absolutely.
You know? And so for her to have a sitcom based on her life, that's amazing. And
That's
I'm
very amazing.
actually shocked people are not more excited about that.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll be on your show. I will watch your show.
Right, we'll both be on
We'll
your
be
show.
happy.
Can you hire me?
Hire the table.
Did you have any gay male white friends growing up?
Wait, are you white?
You're not white. You're not
According to
white.
Derrial.
You're not white. You're
He's
not
Puerto
white.
Rican.
You're Puerto Ricans.
Puerto
You're the Puerto
Rican.
Ricans. All right. Our buzz meter question for today is, were Raven Symone's comments offensive? She made some comments on The View, and sometimes she makes very
Interesting
comments. We'll say that. Yes, that's a
gonna
nice
talk
choice of
about it,
words.
though.
We'll talk about that. You guys vote, and we'll read those results next week. But first, we're going to go to trending topics with DJ Jesse J, who is not white.
And neither were the people on the cover of Cosmopolitan. So, Cosmopolitan dropped their latest issue and named the Kardashian family America's first family. It was a interesting, cute little cut. It was a pretty.
Here's what not that you asked, but I'm going to volunteer.
Girl, that's what we do here. We rudely interrupt.
I know.
She's
I'm
already.
jump right to it.
She went right
person,
to
like,
it.
were you talking? No, but my thing is, if they just put the first family of Instagram or the first family
Reality.
of
Of
social
entertainment.
media,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have cared. But
Yeah.
I did think it was kind of offensive because, I mean, maybe because I'm black, I went, would they have done this if the president was white?
I know.
Would they have actually said the first family? If we had a white president, it seems super disrespectful. And is that the same magazine that ran pictures of black girls with different shades
Yep.
of lipstick going
Or the hair.
out, awful, and then pictures of all white
Yep.
girls going in, cute, fabulous.
Wasn't it
and
Cosmo?
These are the same
Or
magazines.
was it Allure?
It was
No.
Allure messed
Allure
up
did
with
the
the hair.
hair.
Oh, Allure did the hair. Yeah.
I think Cosmo was the lipstick stuff.
Right,
thing.
and because
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm tired of seeing a picture of, like, let's say Rihanna with her boobs out and them going, she's so thirsty and desperate, and then a picture of Miley Cyrus going, what a feminist for
Yeah.
showing her tits.
Right.
I'm over it. They're either all feminists or they're all slut-shamey. Whatever,
Right.
you know. I mean, they're not, but I'm just saying, like, stop breaking it down by race. It is really insulting.
Yeah.
Well, it's also kind of insulting. Let's take away like the common sense part of this. Okay, let's fall into America's first family. Was it the Kardashians? Because I feel like the Osbournes broke reality TV.
Yeah, but if we're gonna talk about like a monetary thing, they weren't on the, they're not on the same
They're on a
level
level.
with the Kardashians. I mean, they didn't bring clothing lines and
Right.
just video games and all this stuff that the Kardashians
They
have brought.
did take it to a new level.
They took it
'cause
to a new level.
Someone I know who's really big in reality TV, I'm not going to say their name, but they were one of the first people to have a show on back like 10 years ago. They told me at one point, Kris Kardashian had come up to them and said, hey, we're doing this. And my friend, who was very famous, was like, no, what are you talking about? And this person is is not on TV now. The Kardashians are
Still doing it.
They are the first family of reality TV.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean,
yeah.
So how long have
doing
you
the
been
thing.
friends with Flavor Flav for?
Silly.
Did you see my clock?
No, but I agree with Rachel. I mean, if this was a time where we didn't have a black president, would this be something that was on the cover?
No,
And-
it would not. So all the bullshit that people are saying, like, oh my God, this is not about anything else other than like somebody thought it was really cool that they are like the biggest family and they're doing amazing. No, nobody. 800 people looked at that damn cover before it got released, and nobody
And said, okay.
"Y'all, that's not tight. That's
Right.
not okay."
Or did they say it wasn't okay, and then they said it doesn't matter because everyone's going to be talking
And
about
it's
it?
because it's the
So-
50th anniversary
Which
too
is
for the magazine,
disgusting.
No,
right?
To me,
Yes,
that's
they're-
disgusting.
Like
Yeah.
you chose the Kardashians over actually taking Obama and his family and putting it on the cover of your magazine.
I don't
and
know
saying-
that they would
I
have
don't
been
think
on
they
the
should
lore.
be on
Yeah.
Cosmo. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not
or
offended
Cosmo.
that the Kardashian family's on there. Like, I don't think the Obamas should be in their place. But like,
Well, no,
respect
but with
the
the
same way we
title, though.
respect the title of the freaking White House when anybody else is in it. Like, it's been obvious that the same respect has not been given to the Obama White House for the last 7
Agreed.
years. And let's be
Agreed.
real about it. So don't pretend like, it's no big deal. It's Cosmo, but it is a big deal. We all use the term first family for the people that run our freaking country.
It's a
Yeah.
big deal because children, and I realize children aren't really reading Allure or Cosmo, but children see these things.
Well, they
See,
are.
they're
Their
not
target is
reading-
like 13,
they may
14
not-
years old.
Oh, right. But so young kids who can read see these titles and go, oh, that's her first family. And those things get ingrained
Yep.
in you and you grow up thinking.
That's what
how
you're
it
teaching
starts.
them is our first family, or what we accept as our first family, representative of us as a whole country.
Can I throw this out? And I know it's slightly off topic, but I was really actually offended and bummed by the meme of Ben Carson and his wife compared to Obama. I thought it was really just. Did you guys? You know what
didn't
I'm
see
talking?
it.
I
You
saw
know what
it.
I'm talking about?
Yeah.
What did they
You know what
say?
I'm talking about here?
You know what I'm talking
You know what I'm
coffee
talking
talk.
about? I'm from New York. No, it's very disrespectful because it was a gorgeous picture of the Obamas, and then they picked a super frumpy picture of Mrs. Carson,
Yeah.
and it was very derogatory about looks,
Yeah.
and I was kind of offended by that because
Yeah.
if we judge everyone based on how it looks, base him on his idiotic statements, leave his wife out of it, and don't compare him to a younger, handsome, TV-ready guy.
And not only that, but I just seen the Carsons on The View, and his wife is what
They
made me
became
actually
more
like
likable
him.
to me because
Yeah.
I hated them before.
I agree,
She's-
but it's still tough for me after he makes his statements. Though it's just like, oh
Well,
man.
that's not what she's saying.
No,
know, I
I,
get it.
believe
It's
the man
judging on
should
appearances.
not
Yeah.
be a
I get it.
president.
No, I
He
get
shouldn't
it.
even be running.
He should be a doctor.
You should
and
be a
stay
brain
with it.
surgeon. But I don't know. I don't like it because I feel like ever since Kennedy and Nixon did their first debate in front of a television, which was the
Yes.
first televised debate, and all of a sudden people realize, oh, how you look
matters.
how you look on camera is suddenly super important. I don't give a shit what my president looks like if he's qualified, if he can do the job. I don't
Absolutely.
give or any doctor.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
So on that level, but am I a Carson supporter? No. Oh.
Well, wait.
Just because we're on that, can we also call out Rupert Murdoch for making the comment about Carson being the real black president because our current one isn't? So let's just take all that language
Let's just
out.
throw it
let's
out.
throw
Yeah.
all that that out.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
be
that's
done
the
with
same
it.
as people saying to me, like, you're not black enough or this or that because of X, Y, and Z or how I talk. And I'm like, pretty sure I'm black enough.
Yeah,
They say that to me too, girl.
Pretty sure
Do you get that? How do you respond?
This one,
not
I
white
just
enough.
don't
I
know how to
refuse.
be.
You're not
not
white.
white
We're
enough.
not.
So anyway,
I'm not gonna go there.
But okay,
Anyway, sorry I hijacked that.
No, I like that. No,
back
it
to the
needs to be
topic.
said.
Last question before we move to the next topic. Kanye came out to say that, look, this is America's first family, and do you?
Of course
and,
he's gonna
and
support his
feels,
wife.
He feels that the Kardashians deserve an Emmy.
Well, he's also running for president, so
For reality television, yes.
Yeah, like I
for
don't
sure,
have a problem
yeah.
with that statement if we're talking about reality stuff.
Yeah, that's you know what I mean.
Sure, give him an Emmy. It's well edited.
It's been on a long time.
So on
She just won her
probably
hands
one of
in
the
the Walk of
longest
Fame
existing
so bad.
reality shows, besides Jerry Springer and Maury Povich.
Those are considered daytime talk.
I know,
right?
I'm
Or
joking.
something?
I'm kidding. No, I'm
Are they in
kidding.
daytime?
Yeah.
I know, yeah, they are.
I
I'm
think
kidding.
we also know Kanye says a lot of things, right? So
Yeah,
this
he's
is
gonna be-
another thing he said.
Right, his presidency, very excited about
Exactly.
it.
Kim
Right.
is first lady.
And his first lady will be Nicki Minaj. Speaking of Nicki Minaj, she decided to take no prisoners this week, y'all. Remember the beef she had with Miley Cyrus?
Yep.
Because I care what the kids think.
Yes.
Well, she came out to say this about Miley Cyrus. The fact that you feel upset about me speaking on something that affects black women makes me feel like you have some big balls. You're in videos with black men and you're bringing out black women on your stages, but you don't want to know how black women feel about something that's so important. Come on, you can't want the good without the bad. If you want to enjoy our culture and our lifestyle, bond with us, dance with us, and have fun with us, twerk with us, rap with us, then you should also want to know what affects us, what is bothering us, and what we feel is unfair to us. You should not want to know. You shouldn't not want to know that. So that was in reference to Miley, and I'm just going to read the next one.
I'm gonna say that's good. Read it, but why is she speaking for everyone? We.
Okay,
the royal
well, so let's
fucking
stick
we
with that
bothers
one.
me, but carry on. So.
No, I actually no, because
I
before
like
I get
her.
into the
Listen,
second one,
you can replace my
gotta
job.
be-
You should
No,
be.
I'm sorry,
No,
am I
I like this.
am I
like
talking
it.
too much?
No, I love this.
I love
No,
it.
I love it.
I'm a
no,
middle-
I'm serious.
Stop.
No,
I
I'm
like it.
a
Please don't
middle
stop.
child, so I had to be like, yo,
makes
listen.
sense.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, you gotta get your piece in there before.
I love it. No, I love it. I'm
Because
loving
otherwise
this.
they railroad you
That's
with their
right.
drama because they're older and they're younger and more
Right.
important.
Anyways,
I know it.
Carry on.
Okay, well let's talk about that. Okay, I read this and I wanted to be on, right next to Nicki and be like, yes, like thank you for saying that to Miley Cyrus. What bothers me is that it's coming from Nicki Minaj, and because I get what Nicki's saying, but it's kind of like at the same time you're talking about these girls, but what have you done for your career to stand up for those girls? I mean, you've had to. I mean, and I understand in order to get into a certain place in Hollywood, you have to dye your hair certain colors and do certain things that you may not
What are you talking about? This is my
What does
natural
that
blonde.
may not want to do. But like,
Look.
I don't like
That's how it
clothes.
grows out of my scalp.
but like, if you're gonna talk about Miley Cyrus dancing and twerking and appropriating culture, well, let's talk about and how black women.
Your blue contacts?
You know what I'm saying?
And blonde hair.
And it's just like
Fake
over sexualize it. It's kind of like, well, okay, we look at it, and black women in history have been this sexual muse, I guess.
Not even muse.
Yeah, not a muse, but and it's like, and you add on to that with
Creature is
you
more
add
like it.
on to that with your music and what you put out in your videos. It's not like you're a strong, independent woman behind a podium dressed in like business women gear. It's like, so it's just kind of.
Yeah, no, I
off-putting
understand what you're
coming from
saying
Nicki
because I
Minaj.
kind of, I actually, I mean, I haven't followed their beef that closely, to be honest. Frankly, I don't give a shit. But since we're talking about it,
Because we gotta talk about
Because
it.
they gotta talk about it.
no, but it does seem odd that Nicki Minaj, who, I mean, let's face it, in the beginning, someone could have said you appropriated white culture in the beginning of your career, like we said, with the
very
contacts,
true.
with the wigs, with the
Or
things.
Japanese culture.
We've
Or
had
Jap-
that conversation on the show before too. So yeah.
Yeah, and I don't actually understand her calling out Miley Cyrus other than she's the most famous one, and if you say her name, you're going to get press because there's a zillion other people, who she could be calling out.
She said it because Miley Cyrus had referred to when Nicki called Taylor out about the voting.
Oh, you kids.
Miley said basically said that she Nicki Minaj'd her, using Nicki Minaj as an adjective of kind of, or actually like a verb of like angry black woman.
Oh wait, so Miley just did that? That's why Nicki talking again about this?
No,
or are we still talking about what happened in June?
Yeah, still what happened in June.
Okay, so we still talking about what happened in June.
Nicki wanted to bring
She got a
that
song
back
coming
up
out.
Well, when does the show come out?
She's right.
Doesn't the show
I
come
mean,
out?
they're shooting the pilot, I think,
Well, she's
early
also
next year.
no, she
But
she's about to come out with the pink print on
She got
BET
something coming out.
tour.
Yeah, she got something.
But okay, so I say all that because she did an interview with the New York Times. Now, this is where I ask you guys this question. In the interview with New York Times, the interviewer, obviously the biggest issue with Nicki Minaj, let me just put you on right now. So the biggest issue with Nicki Minaj right now is that her boyfriend, current boyfriend,
Yes.
Meek.
I
knew that.
Look at you knowing the facts. Okay, give you a high five. Look at you.
has beef with her label mate.
Drake.
Yes.
Ding, 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 ding.
Okay, and so the interviewer said, you know, Birdman, Lil Wayne, Drake, Meek Mill, like, how do you feel about this drama that's going on right now? Like, do you thrive off of it? Off drama?
That was like a hypothetical, right?
Yeah.
You know? Well, Nicki Minaj did not like him asking if she thrives off drama. She said that's disrespectful. Drawing herself up in the chair. Why would a grown-ass woman thrive off drama? What do the 4 men you just named have to do with me thriving off drama? Why would you even say that? That's so peculiar. 4 grown-ass men are having issues between themselves, and you're asking me, do I thrive off drama?
The lady does
But
protest too much.
She is a grown-ass
She
woman
got up
having
and walked
drama.
out of the interview.
Wait, that's after she called Miley Cyrus out. And
Right.
then he was like, so you don't like
So-
drama
right.
with the boys around you, but you like that drama. She walks off on that drama.
You went on national television and expressed your drama, but you get mad at an interview question. I don't get it. It doesn't.
But here's my
compute.
thing. We live in an age of reality television where the #1 shows on TV are grown-ass women thriving in drama. Real Housewives of Atlanta,
Over 40.
Love and Hip Hop.
Over 40.
So,
Actually, isn't the #1 show on TV about zombies?
well,
I'm just asking. Okay.
but it's just so it gets to a point of like, yeah, I would think that. I would think that your career, since I saw you on the VMAs calling somebody out on national television, instead of saying, you know what, I'm a rich woman, let me sit Miley Cyrus down on a nice one-on-one, because I want to do this for the young women out there. I want them to hear a black woman and a white woman sit down and talk and have our discussions. I mean, obviously that's like over the rainbow for a Nicki Minaj situation, but like think about it like that. If you're gonna bring this conversation to the table, I need it to be looked at from all sides, not just you sitting over here. Your wax figure was you in
bent over,
bent
crawling
over.
down something with your booty in the air.
Like what is
And
that?
you were okay with that.
Fine.
And she was okay
it
with
was
it,
the
by
cover
the
of
way.
her album.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
It's fine, but if we go back through history, like she'd be the black harlot, right? I mean, we're always stereotyped in these things, and I actually thought she was slightly more interesting in the very beginning. I remember seeing her on The View, and she was pretty clothed, and they were like, "You don't do all this tardy stuff, and you don't." And she was like, and then immediately
She really did actually when she
first.
no,
I'm talking
wait.
about when she
Not
first
her
started, and it was
mixtapes,
for
but when-
kids.
yeah.
It was more based for young kids. Like I had a lot of respect for that because it wasn't just relying on all
sex.
of this. Which again, there's nothing wrong with you. Listen, girls, rely on it while you can because that shit
Shit
falls
goes away.
and you can't after a while. Trust me.
This is like a
Unless
PSA.
you like sew it back
It's
up.
a
That's right.
PSA.
It
Black
don't
Collar
look the
Live
same.
PSA.
You just twerk your little ass off, seriously, because at some point it's gonna keep twerking over there. And you're like, oh,
It's gonna just keep going.
Yeah, and
Go, keep on twerking.
exactly. So I
And
mean,
not in the direction you wanted to twerk.
It's not the double clap anymore. That will not get you $100 bill.
boy.
Exactly. I just, you know what? As somebody who's not involved in this beef, which you guys know much more about, it just sounds like people are keeping their name in the news, and this is a great way to do
Exactly.
it.
Sure.
This is a great
Yeah.
way to keep Twitter, and you're giving an interview with the New York Times.
Yeah.
So it's just part of the publicity machine.
It is.
That's what it sounds like to me too. I
And
agree.
well,
What you guys already discussed this on your show, but when she had the thing with was when Miley and Taylor Swift had it. Was it Miley, Taylor Swift? Who?
It was Taylor and Nicki.
And Nicki, yeah.
I actually thought, my personal opinion, not that anyone's asking,
No, we
but
do
is that
care. We
Nicki
care.
went after the wrong person. Like, you can go after Taylor, but she's just she's this one cog in the wheel. If you want to critique the way black women are treated in the business, then you have to go after the people who run the business, not just another
she
cog
had kind
in the
of
wheel.
started to do that, and then obviously,
and then
MTV was like, well, we're not responding to that. And Taylor Swift, the way Nicki worded it, did come off as if she was directly, because there was only one other female in the category, and it was Taylor Swift. So Taylor Swift was like, girl, I didn't do nothing to you.
But that's what I'm saying. Actually, my personal opinion is she went after the wrong person, because I've seen a lot. I remember some girl unfollowed me on Twitter because they had been trashing Taylor Swift for 1989, and I was like, leave that girl alone. She has nothing to do with you. And they were like, oh, Rachel Tree's horrible. I'm unfollowing you and Becky and you. Blah, blah.
I love they called you a Becky.
I know, and I was like, I'm like not a Becky. No, I'm not a Becky. I just feel like you're. What you guys
I'm
are
like totally
you guys
not
are
a
like all
Becky.
laughing. Like, am I a Becky?
I made this jewelry piece.
You guys, what? It's not my. You know, it's not my fault. I was raised by my white dad. Like, so fuck off, everyone. There you go.
So you agree with Rihanna? Rachel Dolezal is a hero.
No.
Exactly.
Aren't we going to talk about that?
Well, we were, but
No, we were. Unfortunately, we're not. But what is reliable is, other than Black Hollywood, whenever you need any type of Hollywood news source, is our sister channel, AfterBuzz TV. Whatever your favorite TV show is, as soon as it's over, head over to AfterBuzzTV.com, and we'll be there talking about it.
All right, thank you. Now we're on to gossip with Courtney Stewart.
Well, it's funny. We were going to talk about Rachel Dolezal, then something else super exciting happened. Another name came up in the news this week, and gosh darn it, it was by surprise. Miss Raven-Symone done ran her mouth again, y'all.
Surprise.
She done ran her mouth again. She done upset all the Twitter. She's all over the news. She is still trending on this same thing
She
all day
creating
today,
names, y'all.
you
She
know?
creating up names.
Okay, so what happened was
I'm gonna Google if
I
that's
have
a
to
real
pull
word.
up my new notes because, you know, all this drama made me have to take some extra notes this week. So Ms. Raven-Symone, obviously she is a host or co-host on The View, and she has had some colorful statements in the past, and Thursday was no different. So they were basically discussing in their Hot Topic session the revelation that came about from a study, a recent study that found that Americans make racist assumptions based on African Americanized names. So basically, if your name is LaQuanda, you might not get hired at a job.
We knew that. That's
But
not
we knew that.
news,
It's
right?
not news. It's not news, but it was a new study that came out, and they were talking about it, so that was an
By the way,
issue
do you know
on
how
Hot
much I
Topics.
get made fun of for having like a Jewish biblical name? I'm like, you guys, it's from the Bible. Fucking relax.
You're like, calm down.
Like, it's a really old name.
So it's great, but they don't get it.
I feel like it should have been done on more than just African, because I feel like Hispanics are.
Well, I mean, the assumption being that it's African American people, which is
Right.
what they're making, because it's not always. Because as was mentioned, that lots of people are naming their kids weird ass ish these days. Different.
I met
shouldn't
a white
say weird.
Lucretia the other day.
You know what I'm saying?
White Lucretia.
Well, Lucretia is an old name.
It is.
It used to be
who?
spelled Lucretia.
Well, they spelled it Lucretia.
Like Lucrezia, yeah.
So yeah, so that's her old name.
like you just. I know
it's a-
several.
It was very popular in 1882.
Exactly. All right, sorry. carry on.
Okay, so anyway, so after seeing
Correct spelling.
yeah, it's too much. Okay, so Raven decided that she needed to chime in about this because they are having this argument about whether or not it is racist that this actually is happening and blah blah blah. So Raven jumps up and she literally perked up, just to bring it back, folks. Can we take back quote racist and say discriminatory, because I think that's a better word, and I'm very discriminatory against words like the ones that they were saying in those names. I'm not about to hire you if your name is Watermelon Andrea. It's just not gonna happen.
Wow.
I'm not gonna hire you.
Oh, Raven.
But can we just say that they watched?
She said Watermelon Andrea.
But there's a child with that name.
No. Wait, I just Googled it. I can't find it. I did, because here's my thing. What irritated me the most off of that was they were watching a viral YouTube video of idiots, like 15-year-old kids who were making the most racist jokes on YouTube. They were like, I ain't gonna hire nobody named Black Tisha. I ain't gonna hire nobody named
Elephant Tisha.
Elephant Tisha, Concrang Nisha. Like they were just saying they could be TV Nisha. They would just add Isha to under every word.
Okay, but
so then they had a serious conversation about it, and that's what irritated me the most.
It was about the study, and then they had the YouTube video.
But then they said watermelon Nisha or whatever.
She took it to the extreme.
Whatever it was. And she said that, and it's just sitting here like Raven, like, first of all, look at your name.
Well, that was part of the argument.
Raven Symone.
With an accent aigu. Oh, no, sorry, accent aigu that does not even need to be there because you're not Raven Symone. I'm just saying.
I will say this, like I've known Raven since she was a kid.
Yeah.
I love Raven.
No,
I have a lot of
like
love for Raven, and she's when she's not saying things like this, she's literally one of the sweetest, nicest, most well-adjusted child stars you could know. But that said, she is a millennial.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think when you're younger, you say things without thinking. And she has a national platform to do that right
Absolutely.
now. But I have so much love for her, and that makes me a little sad that she's an example like Watermelon Nation or whatever, because that's you're going
Sharkeisha. At least we know physically that there is a Sharkeisha in the world. Yeah, the bitch that
that's
punched.
a name.
No, I know, but I mean, like, I'm still. I know. I'm just like, wow, Sharkeisha. Wow.
That actually happened.
But here's my thing, and you know what? We all have done it. I have cousins who have some names that I'm like, yeah, you real black. But here's my thing: you can't. I don't actually get why you're judged on your name, because that's not
your choice.
Your choice. You didn't give yourself the name. And let me tell you something. I know some dummies who are named Jenny and Paul and Chris who have basic names. You know what I mean? So just because your name is of an ethnic or ethnicity of a certain thing, why are you judged on that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's stupid when you really think about it.
It's easier to know that they assume that they're a person
They're
of
gonna be
color,
black.
and they don't
Yeah.
want to work with a person of color. So it has nothing to do with the name. It's just a way to identify that there's a black person, because it's illegal to put down I'm a black person and then you cannot hire me because you actually see that I'm a black person.
Right.
So,
Same thing with Hispanics. They always say that a lot of them change. Like, I know someone named Pedro, and he'll write Peter down. He'll put Peter down because he knows that if he puts Pedro down, he's going to get called out.
Can you blame him in today's world, though?
No, but I can't.
Like, I get why he's doing it, and I would actually, I can't say I would tell younger people to do that to get a job, but I see why you would. So you get in the door, because you don't want to be turned away before you even get in the door.
And this argument makes it all the more sad, as I'm sure, and I will stand for Raven Symone on The View. I have before. I think she represents a mentality and a thought that exists in a lot of people and young people in this country. So I think she's representative of a good population. But that, to me, this conversation that we just had makes it that much more sad that she would say what she said.
Oh, it's sad that she
it makes
said
it
it.
that much sadder to me.
Just like, I mean, I always say this, like I have a friend who's called Benjamin, and I call him Benjamin, because that's actually what the name is.
Yeah.
That's where Benjamin came from. Like, most of our letters are Arabic. Do you know that?
Yes.
Our names, half of them are biblical and Middle
Spilling
Eastern.
that knowledge right there on Black Hollywood Live. I love it, Rachel. You're killing that knowledge right
I'm a
now.
nerd.
I love that.
But I mean, so all these things have been around forever, and it's sad that, I just think it's sad that we live in a world where we're so judged on, like you said, something like our name that you can't change. Like, let's say you're Greek, right?
Yeah.
White boy. Let's say you had
Well, my last name originally when we moved over here was Janety. And my great-grandfather changed it to Janedy because he figured our family wouldn't get as many jobs if we had our last name of Janety.
Listen, and I have a friend called Hi Allison Carlos, and she's super white, uber white, like Irish or something. And when I first met her when she was a kid, she was my assistant for a minute. She was kind of embarrassed, not embarrassed, but like, oh, I'm Allison G on this. And then eventually she's like, my name is Allison Carlos. And because she's a white girl, she lives in California, grown up here, and knows the prejudice we have towards the people whose land this was, which is super sadsy. But I don't know. It's like, we can have discussions about this, but what can we do to change it? I'm not in a position to hire La Watermelon.
La Watermelon, I would hire you. In fact, I would want to interview you just so I could meet you if your name was Lemon Watermelon.
Actually, me too. That's what I was thinking.
I want to meet your mama.
Right,
Yes.
right.
I'm
with you, Courtney. I want to interview you and sit down with you.
I want to know.
But I actually think that, Raven speaking out on these things, like you said, she's articulating what a lot of people think.
Yeah.
So in a way, it is starting a discussion
It's a
about
great
it.
conversation.
And they put her on that show for a reason because
Yes.
she is the voice of millennials. Who I never thought I would say this, but you guys are super dumb sometimes, millennials. Like you are. I thought my generation was idiotic, but like you guys, woo.
God bless
So,
whatever comes after.
Good luck with
Yes.
that future.
I know. And we ain't leaving much behind for you to deal with. So.
No,
Not at all.
No, you
You'll
thanks,
be-
baby boomers. Thanks a lot.
Baby boomers, we gonna be broke, and they're stupid. So
Well,
they're not
I
gonna
feel
be
like the baby boomers dumped a lot of stuff on like
Yeah.
my
Well, you know,
generation, which is Gen X,
Next,
and then I don't know where it's going, man.
Well, it's funny. We interviewed Iyanla Van Zant this week, and she made that same
I
statement.
wouldn't have hired her with that name. No,
Yeah,
I'm
right.
kidding. I'm kidding.
When she made a similar statement, she was talking
Yep.
about the millennials versus she called them elders, and she
Elders.
said that it's a lot of a fault being put on the elders of how it's taught to the millennials. So check that out on Black Highway Live Conversations because she gave some great
She gave
knowledge
some
about
knowledge
that.
on that.
Yeah.
All right, well, on to something a little more
What else is no?
positive and exciting. Okay, so, well, it's not really positive to start off with, but the idea is positive. Okay, so for those of you that are under a rock somewhere, there's a crisis going on of refugees coming from Syria, which there's a civil war happening. It's been happening since about 2011, I believe. Over 9 million refugees have left and had to abandon their homes in Syria and have gone to
crazy.
various locations. They're overwhelming different countries, whether it's Turkey, Germany has taken a lot of refugees, but a lot of them have nowhere to go at this point. And in addition to that, a very large portion of these people are children. So the White House and the UN were like, what are we gonna do? What can we help? How can we help? Because, I don't know how many they're actually gonna let into this country, and getting them here is a whole process. But they decided to be creative, and they met with Kickstarter and had a little conversation, and Kickstarter was like, this isn't our normal platform, but you know what? We wanna help. And they stepped up to the plate, and they started a Kickstarter crowdfunding program on Kickstarter on Tuesday for people that regular people can go, because a lot of people are asking, especially on social media, like, I mean, this is really sad, and I'm watching like children drown on the news every single day, but I don't know what I can do or whatever. You can go to Kickstarter, guys, and you can actually donate directly to relief efforts through the UN Refugee Activist Program. And they are helping out the refugees across the ocean, and so far they have surpassed, like literally the first day they surpassed, like the average Kickstarter campaign makes about $18,000, and the first day they had already made like $850,000.
Oh, good. I was going to
something.
ask you what it was
Yeah.
up to.
Well, the goal was
as of this
1.2
morning,
million, right?
yeah, they've surpassed the goal of 1.2 million, and as of about, I think 6 hours ago when I pulled the last numbers, they had over 20,000 backers, and they're at over $1.3 million.
That's
great.
great.
And there's still 4 more days for you to donate.
Yeah.
They have their own separate site. You just go to you can Google. You can Google.
Giggle.
You can Google Kickstarter Syrian refugees, and it'll come right.
You know what?
up.
If a motherfucker could raise like $1 million to make potato salad on Kickstarter, thank
Okay.
God
Absolutely.
they're using this for a
Thank
Preach
better
on,
platform.
sister. Preach on.
Yeah.
But seriously, for a better platform, and I'm so glad to hear that people are giving. Because here's the
Yes.
thing: I'm not religious at all. I didn't have to go to church or anything like that. Which but there's so many Christians out there, and it's very hard for me to take in what you're trying to teach me when you Christianize me, which I'm so willing to listen to. But when you preach and then you don't actually live by those words, that's kind of why people are drawing away from religion. If you want people to join, whether it's Catholic Church or Black Church, whatever it is, come on, live by your words. And turning away people because they're not, I don't know. I feel like the Syrians have it a little rough because it's like kind of like you, like, are you white or are you something?
Like, what are you?
You know what I mean? Like, you're white, dude. I'm not saying you're not white, but like,
Thank you for acknowledging.
but in a certain room, I'm sure you get mistaken for Spanish and get
the
treated
time. Oh, for
differently.
sure.
I've been called
Puerto
a
Rican.
beaner before. Many.
Lord have mercy.
That's horrible. I mean, that's
That's
just a
horrible.
bad
Yeah.
insult.
Yeah.
Beaner.
That's what I said. To
I was
them,
like, people
actually. I
still
was
say
like,
that?
No.
That's exactly.
Nothing
my
surprises me what
exact
people
words.
say. Still,
Nothing
honestly.
surprises you, yeah.
And this is their first nonprofit
This
campaign,
is,
right?
well, the idea is that Kickstarter was built on the idea that they're just supporting creative projects. So it was never supposed to be about like community necessarily outreach and trying to do any non-charitable things. But they recently like reorganized their the incorporation of their company to become, hold on, where's my note? They reincorporated last month to become a public benefit corporation. Basically, that means its social mission to democratize funding for the arts, which is their main mission, is now enshrined in the company's charter. And under that model, profit becomes a means to an end, not an end in of itself. So they feel like they can actually launch into some other projects such as this one, which is why they had to build like a separate website platform just to sort of cover it. But the leader, his name is, where did it go? Justin Kazmark basically said, they called upon the private sector to address the refugee crisis in creative ways. And even though we're focused on creativity, we've learned a lot about building communities of support, and we've learned a lot about funding. We thought that the White House invitation that we can make a modest but positive impact on a really global and extraordinary crisis. So they seem like some good people up in Brooklyn trying to make it happen.
What's the other like Kickstarter-esque kind of?
Indiegogo and GoFundMe have always been able to sort of do community outreach, nonprofit type situations. But
so that's
that
interesting
was not
they
a place
went
for
to Kickstarter. That's interesting that they
well, Kickstarter
they went to
is a bigger platform, and it has much more exposure. And anytime you're even doing those campaigns, a lot of people end up going to Kickstarter because their reach is much further than Indiegogo and GoFundMe. So,
yeah.
All right,
well, it's a great campaign.
Google it,
and
people.
It's doing big things, and they're going to surpass their goals.
It.
So that's
obvious,
the most positive thing.
And just so y'all know, that's still a drop in the bucket. It's amazing and it's great, but it's still a drop in the bucket, and we shouldn't just be like, okay, great, that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
The world still continues, and stuff is still happening, and it's not great. So we should stay on top of it.
And I know we gotta go to a quick little commercial thing, but can you plug your Kickstarter account?
Oh my god!
Because she never. What's your Kickstarter?
I didn't even know about your Kickstarter.
Because she never promotes her stuff.
I put it on Facebook.
Girl, but we gotta have a platform.
I'm working on a film that is dealing with sexual assault and women taking back their power, and it's sort of the origin story of a female superhero. And we're doing a Kickstarter campaign. We're just trying to raise $20,000. We have about 50 days left on the campaign we just started. It's called Day of Reckoning Movie. You can check it out. Google Kickstarter Day of Reckoning Movie. It'll go right to it. And you can donate any level. We love it. We appreciate it. And thank you.
Awesome. And for stuff like that, it doesn't matter. It could be $1. It could be $5. It could be $100, $500, whatever you want.
Adds
right?
up.
Absolutely.
Can you call your character a superhero, or is that trademarked? The word superhero is trademarked, correct?
It is.
Well, she is a superhero-like character. This is it.
Okay, there you go.
Saving.
There you go.
And I'm actually not that person. Just
you can be a superhero, Courtney. No. You can be a superhero.
I'm a newscaster, but
look at you.
In my life, she's a superhero.
In my mind, I'm a superhero.
Well, to us, you're a superhero as well. All right, well, thank you, Courtney. Support her Kickstarter as well, please do.
And support the Syrian one, guys, and stay informed.
All right, thank you, Courtney, for the gossip.
You're welcome.
We're going to move on to hot topics, but before we do that, do you play fantasy football, Rachel, by chance?
No.
that's me and Jesse like every week.
You,
like
no.
Oh, wow.
Well, listen. Do you want to play?
You could.
And you could and win a lot of money.
This is the way you do it. Do you want to win $1 million?
Oh, there you go.
No,
yes,
you want to win $2 million.
Right.
Yes, I do.
And now they're making a millionaire every week.
They are. So we have DraftKings.com.
Okay, all right, I'm in.
You got to go to DraftKings.com. We have a code named Black, and not because we're black, but it is.
I think it is kind of.
Actually, it could be because we're black. Actually,
but that's okay.
That's all right. It's okay. It's still a lot of fun.
I'm fine being black.
I'm so happy being black.
I'm not gonna say I love being white because we all saw that where that got Piers Morgan this week.
Oh my God, that reminds me. My nephew who's 5, 6 was running around going, "I'm the white Power Ranger," and I was like, "Yo, that's kind of fraught with a lot of socio-political ramifications."
Yeah, there's a lot of things
child.
with that.
I was like, "Can't you be the blue Power Ranger?" And then I was like, "Let it go. He's a child."
It's all right. Let it go.
No, because the blue one kind of meant something else too.
Oh, did it?
Yes, it did.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
But we're not talking about that.
We're talking about DraftKings.
All right.
So with DraftKings, you can go there and you can play fantasy football. They have a lot of prizes, up in $10 million in prizes. The first prize is $2 million. Second prize is $1 million. So if you have some free time, Rachel, you should go check it out and
I do.
Put yourself some teams together.
Tell some friends to go play DraftKings and
will.
go on DraftKings and play fantasy football. The code name is Black. Once again.
Was that DraftKings.com?
Yes.
DraftKings.com. That was a nice little plug there. I like that. I like the way you said that.
DraftKings.com. Real clean. We like
Code
that.
name Black. Play fantasy football. Lots of fun and lots of prizes. All right, we're going to move on to our EUR Web Story Spotlight of the Week.
Oh, we didn't get our sound effects.
We didn't get our sound effects today. Alexis from the booth is not paying attention to us right now.
That's not Alexis.
Alexis isn't in the booth.
Rachel's just looking like, what the hell are they doing?
Is that James? James is not paying attention to us right now.
What happened?
All right, so we're going to move on to this story. Well, we've been talking about Bill Cosby a lot, and everyone in media right now has been talking about Bill Cosby for the last year, it seems like.
She just facepalmed.
I know, she just, we lost Courtney on the Bill Cosby topic. But recently, New York Magazine has 35 of the women who are alleging that Bill Cosby raped them on the cover, and they all have been interviewed for this. And a lot of the stories have the cast members from the Cosby Show have been pretty hush about what's been going on. There's been a few kind of things here and there, but Malcolm Jamal Warner recently spoke out about Bill Cosby, and we know obviously Malcolm was Theo on the Cosby Show for many years, and this is what he had to say when asked about the legacy of the Cosby Show. The Cosby Show legacy is tarnished by the sexual assault allegations made against Cosby. My biggest concern is when it comes to images of color on TV and film, no matter what negative stereotypes of people of color, we've always had the Cosby Show to hold up against that. The fact that we no longer have that is the thing that saddens me, because in a few generations, the Huxtables will have been just a fairy tale. So, this is the kind of a big thing that's been going on, and Bill has made very few statements about what's been going on. And what do you guys think in reference to some of the cast members starting to speak out, and the statement that, obviously that Malcolm Jamal Warner said? I know that you started off actually, Rachel, on the Cosby Show at the beginning.
Oh snap!
And
How'd you know?
you worked with him. I saw you holding in that air. I saw you holding that in. So I would love to get your viewpoint, because you work with him as well, and just to kind of get a little
I think I feel the same way as everyone else. Like, it's just really hard to stomach, isn't it? Because,
Damn it, Bill!
I know. Curses. No, it's really hard to stomach. Because I agree with Malcolm that there hasn't really been a show that's come along since then that people can look up to and see those kind of images, and it wasn't a fairy tale. There really were upper middle class black people roaming around
They really did.
Brooklyn
They really
at that
did.
time. But I also think that I don't know. My personal opinion is, you know what? We don't know what happened or didn't happen, but how can his moral high ground was so hard to deal with. The way he was talking about black people, pull your pants up and do this and do that. And
it discredits everything.
It really does.
Yeah.
I mean, he was already sounding a little kooky by saying those things to his people, like, you need to pull your pants up, rah, rah, rah. Like, just shut up, old man. Like,
Yeah, but we get it though, because the older generation of black people always say that. I mean, even Obama says it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's like you get it. My grandfather said the same thing. To my cousins and myself.
What's funny is
pull your
I ran into someone who was also on the show. I did a couple episodes when I was like 2. And I ran into someone on the show recently, and they were like, Rachel, I've been dying to talk to you. Like, come on, did he try anything with you? And I was like, I'm darker than a paper bag. No. That's what I can say about that. And sane.
Well, yeah, and there has only been one African American woman, which is Beverly Johnson, right? That's been the only one.
I'm
so.
sorry, I'm done for a minute. Hold on.
Well, yeah, I know. I don't even know where to go from there.
Drop the mic.
You asked it at me.
Well, here's the thing, and with what Malcolm said, a lot of networks like TV Land and also Bounce TV have stopped running the
I
Cosby
think
Show.
it's stupid. I think it's dumb.
Did they stop
And
running
here's
it?
why.
Do you really?
Yes,
Do you?
I do.
Why?
Because
Why do you
Bill
think it's dumb?
Cosby is not Huxtable. Like, it's just at the end of the day, it's a fucking TV show.
But they pulled Seventh Heaven when the
Yeah.
dad was all
Molesting.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I hear what you're saying, because part of me, like, I was a part of that show to a very tiny, infinitesimal, nobody saw it part of that show, and I was really proud. And it was one of my first jobs ever. Are you kidding me? As a black actress?
Yeah.
That's insane that you get to be on the Cosby Show. So I really do feel bad about the legacy of it, but I also know, like,
No.
you gotta lie in the bed you make.
But
And by the way, all the actors, nobody's losing money on them pulling the shows.
Well, see,
Everybody
that's
got
what
a buyout, and I know their buyouts sucked.
Okay, that's what
sucks.
it's funny. That's what I was most concerned about as well, because I was like, what are the residuals like now that they can't get the residuals?
Listen, I'm not 1,000% sure, but I know someone who was very prominent on the cast had a buyout, and it was
Okay.
not. And this was, whenever the show ended, so
Yeah.
a really long time ago. That
Right.
money is long
Long
gone,
gone, yeah.
long gone.
Yeah.
So probably Cosby is the one who's suffering the most, unless some other people like Malcolm maybe had a better deal
Yeah.
with the buyout and etc. But this is not really hurting them financially.
Okay.
It's not. It is hurting the legacy of, like,
Yeah.
come on, those were the first people I ever saw on TV.
Must-
Because I'm old, but I'm not old enough for, like, that nurse show with Diane Carroll.
No,
and that
none
was
of
the
us-
only
no.
other show.
I don't know
That
what show
was?
What show was that?
She was a nurse. I can't think of it, but it was the It was the
Dr.
only Julia, right?
It was on like way before we were born.
Way
It was, like,
before,
early
and
60s.
really there weren't that many shows. And even now, the reason, this is a black-centered show, so people aren't surprised, but the reason everyone's still like, oh God, these black dramas are doing so well, because there weren't any fucking black dramas before this.
No, comedies.
In the 90s, there was a show called Under One Roof. with James Earl
Are
Jones.
you okay, Courtney? You just had a little moment over
Like,
there.
it broke my heart when that show got taken
Right,
off the air.
because they canceled it pretty
amazing.
quickly, and Essence Atkins, who was on Half Half with me,
Yes.
was the daughter on that, and I just remember, a drama, and it had white people on it too, so it wasn't primarily a black show.
It was like Parenthood, but black
right,
people.
exactly, and it came and went so fast that I was just like, oh, we're never on TV in the way I'd like to be. And even when Viola Davis won, I turned to my totally white boyfriend and was like, hey, this may be only the second or third time that a black woman, and then I was like, oh, I'm sorry, Whitey, first time ever.
Oh boy.
It's sad.
So it's just sad all around. That's what I think. I mean, I don't have a problem necessarily with them pulling it though, because
I think they have to pull it right now, like because of it being in the news right now, as much as it is, and every other week a new chick is coming out saying that she was a part
the
of it.
fact that
He's
it's on
about
New
to
York
be
Magazine
deposed
is
right now.
serious.
Like I think it would be distasteful to
But
not
okay,
take it
so
off the air
then,
right now.
so then, why do we allow Rick Ross to create his music
'cause-
where he talks about drugging girls,
Rick Ross
or we allow
wasn't the,
Lil
like,
Wayne to
gay-
talk about
talking
raping?
about doing it is 1,000%
Right.
different than actually doing
we
it, and
don't
we're
know if they do
allegedly
it.
doing
Well,
it for
until
Cosby.
35
so it's
all
proven.
alleged.
Until 35
Everything is
women come out
allegedly,
and say that.
But people have come out and said that Rick Ross
But they've
did it,
never set
and it was
themselves
allegedly.
up to be
And
any
Bill
sort
Cosby
of moral.
in a
Right.
television
Here's the
show that was a whole bunch of people, and it was a cast, and it's a story, a fictional story.
Well, listen, if you pulled everything off, there'd be
saying,
nothing left on
but
air if you
Tim
pulled
Allen
off
was
all
a
the shows
drunk-
that have people who did creepy
Creepy
fucked
things,
up
yeah, I
things.
agree
Tim
with
Allen
you.
from
To other
Home
people.
Improvement.
Yeah.
Tim Allen of Home
He was
Improvement.
What did he
robbing
do?
He went
He
to
sold
jail.
coke,
He
so?
went to jail for a long time.
Yeah, he went to jail for a long time.
But I'm just saying, like, I get it. Like, it's not like Christianity is thrown out the fucking closet because a fucking priest raped a little boy. Like, people still believe in Christianity and still
I
go
think
hard
you should
for it.
throw out some
So
of it,
I
to be
look at-
honest, with what happened.
You
I
know,
mean,
so,
really.
but that just because it's a bad seed, like it
I think
doesn't.
it's
Yeah, but
just
it's
because
but it's the epitome of the image that he presented to
But
us.
it's not about him.
It is
It
about
is about
though.
him.
That's
It's
the
about
Yes,
thing.
it is
Mr.
about him.
Huxtable. Bill Cosby didn't play Bill Cosby on the
Hold
show.
on.
Yes,
But
but his
Bill-
values
Bill
were part of that
Cosby-
show.
They were not Bill Cosby values.
Yeah.
Those were-
Mom, Dad, stop
Yes, they
fighting.
were.
He spoke those values
I get it.
to
Yeah.
the
Absolutely.
public as Bill Cosby,
Yes, he did.
as well as Cliff Huxtable.
Well, how
Yes.
could you listen to him telling Theo, do the right thing and treat a woman correctly when all you're thinking in the back of your mind is, what did you do, Bill Cosby?
Right.
And so I kind of I
I
understand
just
your
think
passion,
I get it. I think
though.
it should come back. Personally,
Yeah.
I would like to
Well,
see
no,
it come back to TV.
it can
I
never come
think
back.
right
If you take it
now-
off, it can never come back.
Well,
Because then how
that's-
can you erase
that's
what you just
That's not
said?
true. It's not about erasing anything. It's sort of like the same thing. Like you respect people's mourning time and their need to get through something, and then
Right.
you can come back and address certain things. I'm not
Right.
going to talk about anything specific, even though I got something in my mind right now. But what I'm saying is right now, what's in the news is completely contradictory. In fact, I think it does more harm to have it on the air while all this stuff is running
I
right
agree.
next to
I
it
do.
about
I
what's
agree.
going on, because people aren't separating those things. Once he's gone through whatever, maybe he about to die in a few years anyway. Like maybe it's gonna pass away and it'll be done.
So then when he dies, then he becomes a legacy. It just
It's
don't
not
make sense.
becoming a legacy. It's about, you're asking me whether or not it should be back on the air. I'm just saying, if you want that image running along, I don't want that image running alongside CNN with the thing 957 women have now
Right.
deposited.
I'm not even going to be able to
alcohol.
watch it the same way.
Because I think that
You know what I
changes,
mean?
that even further changes people's perception of it, because it's present in front of you on both ends of it.
But oh my god! But what blows my mind? But it just blows my mind because how many of these fucking actors are drunk alcoholics? We see the party side of them, but their shit's still on fucking TV.
It's
comes
still
from
different.
He came
It's
from
still
a
different.
different. He came from a different place. He decided that he was going to be the voice of a different version of the black community, and he decided that in his personal life, in his
Absolutely.
philanthropic—that's not a word—philanthropic life,
Yeah.
and in his art. So
He went to black colleges,
take
black
it down-
universities, did
take it down
speeches,
and put
spoke
Love and Hip Hop
about
on.
what black
I'm
men
not
should be
saying
like.
That's what I'm
love-
saying.
But you-
Nobody's
you
saying
knew-
put that in place.
But-
You
Right,
know
that's
it's
what it
deep
is.
when like Spellman and the schools kicked him
That's
off
what I'm
the
saying.
board. Like,
That's what I'm
you
saying.
know
He
what-
went to these black universities and spoke about what black men should be like, spoke about education and all these things. It's a contradiction.
Should they not? But should they not be those things?
They should be those things, but then you're contradicting yourself because of what you're doing in your personal life.
So okay, so let's take him away, take
Because-
all that artwork away, all those motivational speeches away, and let's just put out what's out there right now. I'm just saying, the opposite side of it, there isn't any good conversation that's coming out of it. You're telling me if you put the Cosby Show on, more people are going to watch that programming, and they're going to take a negative away from it than versus watching a Love and Hip Hop of Real Housewives of Atlanta just because he did what he did. I'm not watching that and seeing, personally, I'm understanding that is not Bill Cosby. That is Mr. Huxtable. I understand that. I understand what you're saying.
But not everyone thinks like you.
I understand that, but not everyone thinks like that.
Agreed. But I think also we are fully aware that in the world that we live in now, the separation of who you are as an artist and the separation of who you are as a person isn't what it could have been in the past because of social media, because of everything that's going on. And my personal opinion is simply that the Cosby Show is something valuable, and if there's anything to be salvaged from it, it needs to be separated from what's going on with Bill Cosby
also,
right now.
it comes down to dollars and cents. The reason they pulled the show
advertisers
is because
advertisers said they would not run on the network
That's right.
if they kept the Cosby Show on.
It has nothing to do with Bill Cosby.
Absolutely.
It's about dollars and cents.
Dollars and
If
cents.
the advertisers had said, we don't care, that show would still be on the air today. That's the bottom line. But you can't advertise family products on that show now. And so what are you going to advertise?
Because it's not a family
and
product
yet it's
to
a
most
family
people.
show. So the advertisers can't put a product in there. That's part of what it comes
That's part
down
of
to.
it.
Because I was always aware when I was on TV, like, and the TV show is on, TV is a commercial for the commercials. So you just got to remember that, and it has nothing to do with that art. And hopefully there will be other programs. Hopefully, I actually would love to see another show come up with values, and we have Blackish, which is awesome. Well, I like it.
I know, I love
You guys are like,
Blackish.
meh, and that's
No, I
fair
like
enough, but I
Blackish.
like the idea of what they're trying to do and what they're trying to talk about, and, hopefully we'll have other things.
There's others being developed.
Positive role models.
My problem with everything is right now, like, to take the Cosby's and throw it out, but then you put Modern Family on there, and it's like, okay, I understand what Modern Family is doing, but when you look at the '90s, every show was about family, and I feel like there is not a TV show on TV right now that really shows a normal family.
What about like Parenthood that just got canceled, but that was family?
Parenthood was very family.
Yeah.
And it's canceled.
Well, but it was
You're
on
talking
for
about as
7
of late.
years.
Yeah,
Ran for a long
It
time.
did its
So
run.
you like family-oriented programming?
I like
Family
it.
Matters. Family Matters.
Okay, but that was the '90s. But what I'm saying is,
I'm saying right now there's
the
no-
reason
right.
I do
Agreed,
believe we
agreed.
are molded by television, and I feel like we watched a certain type of programming
Right.
that was geared towards the family.
Yeah, I
Families.
understand what you're saying.
And I
but we
don't
also-
feel like that's out there. I feel like my mom has shows she can watch. I have shows I can watch. There's a couple that we can watch
What
together.
about like this shows on ABC Family, formerly known as
They were never
Well,
really
they're
family.
bringing back the show actually
like
with,
Pretty Little
with
Liars,
Malcolm
like my
Jamal
mom's-
Warner and
Right.
Tracy Ross.
We're
What was the
watching
show that was on
it in
BET?
different rooms, not telling the other
Right.
ones that
The
we're
family
I know
show.
what you're talking
They're
about.
They're
bringing
bringing
it
Read
back.
between the lines.
Yeah,
Or-
read
is that
read
one?
between the
Between
lines. They're bringing that back without her. From what I just that's
all
what I hear.
these years later.
It's
That's
like
what I hear,
been like
yeah.
3 or 4 years, right?
Yeah, hasn't it been like
Yeah.
a really long
Yeah,
time?
it's been a minute. Because Blackish is second season, right? So
Well,
she
maybe
had,
they're bringing it
like,
back because
2
it
years
being so
before that.
Blackish has blown up. So
I gotcha.
Blackish
I don't
is 2
know.
years.
All right, well, we got to move on, though. We can talk about Bill Cosby all damn
We
day,
gonna
but we're
fight
not going to do
about
that
it all
today. And we can
day.
fight about it all day
You
today.
love you some Cosby.
You love you some
show.
Cosby.
I don't know. Well,
Right. You're real passionate about the
I
Cosby.
grew up. I'm a stand-up comedian, so like Bill Cosby,
okay.
Jim Carrey, and Robin Williams. Like,
But see,
Gotcha.
I'm just gonna say one last thing. I sat and watched because I had just introduced a 9-year-old to the Cosby Show before everything sort of exploded last year, and literally trying to watch it with her afterwards.
You had a
It's
hard
different.
time.
Yeah.
Also,
It was just different because then she's watching the news with me. She's like, "Wait, is that the same guy that's on?" And I was like, "We're gonna turn. Let's go
Yeah.
watch whatever."
Right.
So it tarnishes it in a little bit of a way
Yeah.
to me.
but again, super sad to see that all go down.
Super
Very
sad to
sad.
see it go down.
But at least A Different World is on a few more times now.
It is.
because
Not
it's
going to watch
on.
Lisa Bonet some more, so all right.
I just saw Cree not that long ago.
I was on a flight with Cree.
Super
Love Cree.
sweet.
She's super
girl.
sweet.
Yeah,
They could amp up
awesome.
those reruns because
Yes, they
that's
can.
a family
That's true. They could
educational.
bring it
We
back.
need
Very
to
true.
see that.
All right. Well, speaking of education, this is our last topic of the day, and then we're going to move on to talk to Rachel. A new data has been published from the National Bureau of Economic Research that says, which is something we already know, is that black people need to be smarter and better in the work environment than white people. Now, many of us who are African Americans have always been told you got to be 2 times as better as a Caucasian.
Ooh, what you talking about?
Yeah.
There's
it was
a 2 to
like
3,
2.
5, whatever the number is in your household.
200%.
But this report says that black workers receive extra scrutiny from bosses, which can lead to the following: worse performance reviews, which we already know, lower wages and slower promotions, job loss possibilities, and make less money over time than whites, which are things that we already know.
It's all true.
So basically, we should just throw this research out the door because I think it's already
That research
engraved
is
in
for
their-
white people.
White people. It's not for us.
That's so white people can hear that and go, that's not true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
And then there would be one white person that's like, really? Oh my God,
But
am I doing that?
Once
And then they
again-
might look at what they're doing
Right.
a little differently.
Right.
So then
maybe.
it'll take like 5 million more times for us to get that study.
But I
for everybody
think
to get
that's
it.
true, by the way. I think
It's
black
true.
people do have to work super hard.
Absolutely.
I was driving home not that long ago and I heard on NPR and it made me so sad. I almost pulled my car over because I was like, I'm really upset. There was a study by nurses and nurses decided that black people, they're not in as much pain as white people. They can wait longer.
Yep.
If they have a broken arm, they're technically not feeling as much pain as a white person who has a broken arm. And I know this to be true. Of course, you're going to take whitey before you take me. I mean,
Right.
white people. Sorry. And that's just the way it goes. And I suppose if I was a millennial, I'd be like, I'm race shamed. But the truth is, I'm not shamed. I'm not anything. I'm fabulous. And the system's fucked. And I'm just going to keep doing me and feeling great about myself. Actually, the girl on Twitter who unfollowed me was like, how can you feel good about yourself in a world where they treat black people like that? How people treat me has nothing to do with how I feel about me.
I know that's right.
Yeah, like I felt bad for her actually because I was like, she's young and she's angry and she
doesn't know how to channel that energy.
That's right. But if you'd been that way when you were younger, or you or me, forget you, we wouldn't be sitting here. That's the truth.
Yeah.
We had to work a lot harder. So that study makes me sad, but it's the truth.
It's the truth.
It's the reality.
All
of
right,
the
well, that
situation.
concludes our topics for today, but we're going to move on to talk to Rachel True because we love having you in here today. And it's kind of funny. When I was really looking at some of the history of the roles that you've done and just reading some information about you, I got to give you props. You're a trendsetter yourself because you've broken a lot of racial barriers. There's been a ton of roles that you've been in that were made for white women, and they gave you the role because of your excellent acting ability.
I'm your 90s black best
Let's
friend.
applaud you first of all for breaking the barriers at the beginning.
That's sweet. Thank
No,
you. Well,
seriously.
I don't
That's a serious thing.
I don't feel like I broke any. I feel like people came before me,
Yeah.
broke them, and paved the path for me. Let me say that. That's what I think.
I hear you.
But I did fight to get in a lot of rooms where back when I first started acting in the 90s, I was told, no, you can't read for that. And I really worked twice as hard as my white counterparts to get in that casting room.
Right.
Like for example, like with The Craft, that was totally white, and so my agent was like, no, it's white, and I was like, I don't care. And then he was like, and you're too old, and I was like, fuck you. And so I hired a manager. He wouldn't submit me for the role, so a manager had been pursuing me. I was like, if you can get me in on this project, I'll work with you. So that's how that went down. But I really had to push for things like that to try to get in on this stuff.
Love it.
And I'm glad I was in that because that's a really old movie, but it just makes me feel great when
Listen, that's a classic.
We
well,
still
when
watching
girls
it.
come up to me and they're like, you were one of the first people I saw and you were in this, and it does make me, it does mean something, and so that's kind of awesome, you know?
And then they're remaking The Craft now, right? How do you feel about that?
Somehow I got this job just running lines and basically babysitting the 2 kids on the show because she was young. And Chris Rock saw me with these 2 kids, and he was like, oh, hi. And I think he thought I was like, like super traditional, like normal girls are. So after that, I met him. I auditioned for that a bunch of times. And I kind of loved that he let me do the character this way instead of making her, I think she was a little more hard or city, urban. And, we urban. Well, I always thought that was so weird, urban, because what does that even mean? But he let me ad-lib lines like, I want to listen to Lenny Kravitz. And he let me be the little boho girl that I was. And you hadn't really seen her, besides like Denise Huxtable, you hadn't really seen her on camera that much. So I love him and Nelson George, who's...
Nelson's great.
Nelson's
he's
amazing.
Yeah.
So I credit those guys with really helping my career, because that's when I moved out to California and started working a little more.
Well, you've worked for a long time, and now you have a new project, Heart of Sharkness.
Yeah, I did.
Heart of Sharkness, which is a mockumentary of shark. You were also in Sharknado 2, first of all.
I wasn't too. So I was at home, right, and I got a phone call from the casting director at the time of the Sharknado movie. He's like, "How would you feel about coming in and like flying an airplane with the original guy from Airplane in Sharknado?" I was like, "Sure." But here's the reason. Because here's two of my biggest fears. One is being eaten by a shark. And the second second one is surviving a plane crash, but my biggest fear is surviving a plane crash to be eaten off my flotation cushion by a shark.
I'm with you.
So here it was like, oh, I get eaten by a shark in the plane in midair. It's like everything, and I was like, maybe it won't actually happen in life if I do this. Also, it was like in the first 5 minutes, and one of my snotty actor friends was like, Sharknado, and I was like, Judd Hirsch is driving a goddamn taxi in this movie. Okay, I think it's fine. We're all just have a sense of humor about it, and it's super fun, and it's kind of fun to be part of the zeitgeist, like the silly thing like that people respond to, and part of the zeitgeist. So this is a mockumentary that is basically the telling of the original Sharknado. Like here's the Sharknado that we tried to shoot before, the one you saw with Ian and all of that. Like here's actually what went down. And basically, I'm one of the actors in the original story. I guess I'm like the Vivica role. I don't know. Basically, but without the sass. I wish. But so it was just super fun. Like the idea was silly and funny and kitschy and you know, we just had a blast. Like got to ad lib and just run around and shoot guns and sharks and
the trailer's fun. I love it.
The whole thing was silly and funny. And the idea, I don't know if I don't want to blow the idea, but like this guy wanted to really make the movie like with real sharks and real things, and so you kind of see what happens along the way of if you try to do it that way. Also the head of one of the heads of Asylum, David Ladd, is in it, who is, you know, responsible for Sharknado and Z Nation and all these other shows. And so it's kind of an in-house, super fun little joke that everyone can get.
Yeah, and it comes out today, actually. You can get it on Amazon.com.
I do believe you can.
Yes, so please.
I play the black girl.
She plays the black girl. She plays it well. The black girl.
Exactly.
The black girl. And then you also have Good Grief coming out.
Oh yeah,
that's
an indie movie I did that hopefully will be coming out soon. You never know with indies, but it was super fun. It's about a group of friends, high school and college friends, who they have to go home for a funeral, and comedy ensues.
And what's your character?
I'm the black girl. No,
you're the black girl. The black girl again.
You know what? I'm the worst. I cannot remember my character name.
I actually have it here. Pepper.
Oh yeah, Pepper. That's right. I never. No, you could ask me about something I played last week, and I'd be like, I don't know. I don't actually keep it in my, because it takes so much to memorize the stuff that you're doing that once it's done,
you're like
it's
out.
Right, it's out. But I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but who cares? Like it's called Good Grief, and it's based on Peanuts characters. So I play Pepper, who's kind of like a peppermint patty.
Oh, peppermint patty.
Wait, you know, I want to know the deal with this. Like, I constantly get cast as a lesbian because of my hair. Do people? No, seriously. No.
Really?
They're like, yes. Do you know what I'm talking about?
You're like a feminist lesbian if you have natural. It's getting better now.
Because you have curly hair?
No. Your natural hair.
Natural hair.
Because now, more recently,
like
it's less like that just because it's become a big thing. But like when I first went natural, everybody thought I was gay.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
I'm not even making that up.
Even my grandma was like, is everything okay?
Wow. I've heard it all now.
No, because when my aunt, she started, remember I was telling you she did organic and all that, and started wearing the Birkenstocks, I was kind of like,
That's what I'm saying. If you do anything that's slightly alternative, you're like a lesbian, which, whatever, I'm not, but I was like, oh, that's so weird. I didn't know there was this connotation.
Lesbian, feminist, black power girl if you had natural hair.
That's right. But also, I didn't realize when the TV show was on, my character wore these big, you know, funky boots and stuff.
Yeah.
Lesbians love big boots?
Apparently.
What's the deal? I did not know this. No, I didn't. Because I got, by the way, be careful out there on social media, and I bring this up to say, like, when back in the day, in like 2007, 2008, when I first started getting on Twitter, a huge, you know, I had a lot of followers at the time, and then I left it and have no followers now. But basically what happened is I got a stalker in real life off it, and she happened to be like 5'11".
Is that why you left?
5 foot, left social media. 5'11", 6'1" tall lesbian stalker.
Oh.
Who showed up in my, I can't, Google the police report and you'll see what she showed up at my my house with.
Wow.
And it was
Wow.
yeah, it was really weird. And so be careful out there on social media,
got to.
kids.
That's why never tag yourself.
Never
where
tag
you're
yourself.
at.
Thank you. That's
Yeah.
always been a bad idea.
Yeah.
It
that's-
blows my mind people do that.
Well, the thing is, like, this person was at the coffee shop not that far from my house, and I was like, that's weird. That's really weird. And then literally everything I did at home, like, Rachel True put down that cup with the blue lid, was on social media. Right. So I covered up so I covered up the camera on my computer, right? And then like it's still, but Rachel True, put down that whatever you're doing. And I finally I realized like, oh, they're outside
They're out watching you.
me.
Oh,
That's freaky as hell.
And I've moved, by the way. So I also, but I got
Oh my
I
God.
have a 10-year restraining order from that. Had to go to court. Had to do a bunch of things that were a drag, to
That
be
would affect
honest. So
your
yeah,
life.
totally be careful.
Are you still
out
kind of
there.
looking over your back sometimes when you go out?
I am, but
That
I'm also
cannot scare-
I'm also
not-
a New
yeah.
Yorker. Like you should always look over your
Yeah,
goddamn
that's
back,
true.
people.
Right.
You know, you should always be aware
Yeah.
of your circumstances. And I'm just getting back on social media.
Well, I know fans will be happy about that.
I don't know how much to actually.
Please don't find me.
But I don't know how much to actually interact with people now.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the tricky
weird.
part because I was back in the day. I was responding to people and everything they said, and so this person was like, "I can save you," and I was like, "I don't need to be saved."
I'm good.
Yeah. So you know, I just gotta be careful with the interactions, and also
worry
we've
about
seen
you.
how many, but we've also seen how many people like say stuff on social media and don't realize that it resonates. Like
Yeah.
I read like somebody today, Daniel Craig had said, "I'd rather stab out my own eye
Yeah, then
than
play
Bond
again. I saw that.
And
yeah.
so Gray from Grey's Anatomy was like, "He must be crazy to say that," which I kind of agree with.
I agree
by
with.
the way, like, but she said it in Twitter on public, and then she got beat to the wall for saying that, and like, it's so weird.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a weird space.
Yeah.
People are weird with the social media. Yeah.
That's why I'm gonna find a rock.
And then and you have these great projects going on. What are you working on next?
Well, my biggest focus right now is I'm an actor, so I'm just looking for a job right now. Because I was telling you before, I had a very mundane, average health thing that affects Black women. A few people are like, "What happened to you? Where'd you go?" And I was like, "Oh, you know what? I had to take some time off because I had to have a surgery and get healthy and da-da-da." So my big thing right now is I'm really into health and I want to talk to people about what we can do to take health into our own hands and not just relying on the pills the doctors give us, and how just
More natural.
not just more natural, but staying away from like our standard American diet, which is called the SAD diet, which is true. It's the foods that are in our standard American. Other than that, I'm just getting back into working and auditioning and doing my thing again. So I really look forward to see what comes up next. So keep your eye out for me because you never know. By the way, I probably did something and I'm totally forgetting about it.
I had to look back at my notes. I was like, there's something that she's forgetting to say about herself.
No,
You know
I'm
what I mean?
sure there is. I'm like the worst when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like I don't remember it. I don't think about it. And I think it's part of my identity as opposed to my whole identity, which I think keeps me sane. Like if you base everything on like whether you're working or what you're working on or what you look like, then it's really easy to feel like shit in this town.
Yeah,
Girl.
that's true.
You know what I mean?
We know that.
Well, we know we can check you out at The Heart of Sharkness, which came out today on Amazon.
Did you say Heart of
He
Sharkness?
said hard sharkness.
Heart of Sharkness.
No,
I say
it's
heart.
totally funny.
Did I say heart?
It's got a fun cast like Zach Ward and who else? I'm talking to my friend over there.
Jennifer McCullough. She was on Golden Girls and Growing Pains.
There's a lot of people.
Lots of
and
people.
there's a great cameo from George R.R. Martin.
George R.R. Martin, yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun people in it, and again, it's just silly and fun, and I had a blast doing it. So.
And do you still do the Game of Thrones
I do. I have a
podcast?
Game of, that's right. I forgot about that. I do on GeekNation.com. I do the Game of Thrones podcast. I can't wait till it starts back up again
I
because
know.
that was
Very
super
exciting.
super
Season.
duper fun
Yeah,
to
it
do.
was,
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to say where can fans find you on social media because we're closing out the show.
I'm
But
on it.
are you back on?
At Rachel True on Twitter, and then check out my website for health stuff. It's racheltrue.com.
You can do that.
Courtney, where can fans find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Stuart Starlet. Please don't stalk me at my house ever.
Jesse.
Everywhere at DJ Jesse J.
And you can find me at Derrial Christon on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you guys for tuning in to Black Hollywood Live. Also, remember to go to the Buzzmeter question this week, which we talked about, which is where Raven Symone's comments offensive. You let us know. We'll read those results. And have a great weekend.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.
From executives Kevin Undergaro, Derrial Christon, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me @KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks.
Hollywood.
Hollywood redefined. Let's go like,
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.